All right, this is the daily section in your Panda Planner Classic. So you're gonna start with your morning review. So of course you put in your date, and then the morning review is like your little morning routine. We're gonna go over this section every morning. So we're gonna start with what you're grateful for. Now, gratitude has gotten a ton of attention lately, and for good reason. There's a lot of research that shows the benefits on this. So taking the time every morning to really savor the things in your life that you have to be grateful for is just putting your brain in the optimal state to not only have a good day, but also have a really good life and feel really fulfilled. So I like to do this in kind of a couple different ways. One way that works for me to keep things, switching it up and keep it so it's not really boring, is to do a big thing, a small thing, and an experience. So in this example, a big thing could be like your family and really taking the time to appreciate what it's like having your family. And then a small thing would be like your morning coffee or like the view from your window. Just something small that you can really like appreciate in this moment that's around you. And then experience is something that's happened to you that you can savor and kind of relive that experience. And taking the time to feel those things is going to make some pretty dramatic changes in your brain. I'm excited about has a couple different benefits. So to start with, we're looking at positive anticipation, starting to build the habit of looking forward to things again. I think that in the modern world, we're constantly focused on what we have to do and things that we did in the past and things that we're like we should be doing but we're not, and making yourself feel bad about that. We kind of lost the habit of looking forward to things in our life. We're just kind of going through the motions and just like going from one thing to the next without really looking forward to the big things in our life. Like remember when you were a kid and like you were looking forward to school vacation or even like a half day and how exciting that was. So getting yourself back in that habit of positive anticipation is really good. And also there's research on showing where people can derive as much, if not more, satisfaction from planning something as opposed to actually doing the thing. So for vacations, they can get as much enjoyment out of planning their vacation and looking forward to what they're going to do on their vacation as they get from actually doing the things in the first place. And so your affirmation, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about affirmations. I think that affirmations can work if you do them right. So affirmations are like a declarative statement about something that you want more of in your life or something that you want to work on in your own mindset. And by declaring to yourself every morning, you're starting to like kind of ingrain that into your brain and make that more of a priority and kind of bring it front and center. I will say if you do have some sort of like a mental condition, like you're dealing with depression, be careful with how you do affirmations, because if it feels disingenuous, it doesn't feel real to you, there is some research showing that people in those situations, it can do more harm than good. So if you are finding yourself in one of those situations, of course I'm not a doctor and I can't give you advice, but I would make sure that you're doing a strength-based affirmation. Look at, everyone's got things that they're really good at and that they're not so good at. Find the things that you're good at and spend the time every morning reaffirming about how those are your strengths and you are really good at those things. And doing that over time will legitimately start to build out your self-efficacy, your confidence, your feeling of self-esteem that you can actually get things done, because you're starting to remember and remind yourself that like, damn, I am really good at those things. And it can start to build up momentum that way. But for everyone else, if you're not dealing with a mental health condition, then other kind of affirmations can also work. I found these, I was really skeptical at first, but after doing them for a while, I started to notice them working. And so, whether that's from just bringing it sort of front and center and bringing it to top of mind, or from like a deep ingrained sort of embodiment of those things, I'm not really sure, but they do work. So give it a try. If it works for you, great. So your focus section, this can be used in a couple different ways. So this can be like a focus, like trying new things, or like trying to laugh and not sweat the small stuff, or maybe it's focused on like spending more time with your kids or being present with your friends. I also like to use this section as an area to track my deep work sessions. So I like to work in like 45 to 55 minute sessions followed by a little break. And when I complete a session like that, I'll put a little tally mark here in the focus section. And that'll let me like keep track of how many different deep work focus sessions I'm doing on a daily basis. So you can use this section in multiple different ways. So try something that works for you and then experiment with it. Exercise is pretty self-explanatory. It's really important for us to exercise, and if we don't make it front and center and prioritize it on a daily basis, we're not going to get it done. So every day try and plan on doing something, even if it's just like, don't have to have a full-blown like high-intensity interval workout every single day, but if you're just going for a walk, just something that you can be doing to get yourself up and moving every day, burn some calories, get the blood flowing. Doctors have said if you could take the benefits of exercise and put it into a pill, it would be considered a miracle drug because there are so many benefits. So try and make exercise a big priority in your life. And so before we get into priorities, I want to go into the end of the day review that you're going to be doing at the end of the night. And it's very straightforward. It's today's wins. So this is, again, savoring. looking at what 3 things that happened today that you're really proud of, or that you really enjoyed, or that you're like, that just went great. And you're just going to take the time to really appreciate those things and do it from the perspective of like, one, you're glad it's in your life right now, and also like think about how far you've come to be able to be at the point in your life where you get to have those experiences or have those things happen to you. And then another benefit from doing the Today's Wins is it's kind of like a little cheat code to get your brain to think that you had a better day than you did. And that sounds a little bit weird, but essentially what happens is they've kind of seen in some research that if you finish your day on a high note and things went well, that your brain kind of remembers that as being a good day. So even if you had a challenging day, if you take the end of the day and really go over all the things that went well in your life, over time, cumulatively, you're going to continue to remember your days as really good days. So it's kind of a little sneaky way of getting yourself to really start to get more satisfaction, enjoyment, and fulfillment out of your life, is that even on the tough, challenging days, find one, you can look at the perspective of finding the positives from your challenges in your day. And then 2, by doing this at the end of your day, you're training your brain to just remember it as a really good day. And then how I'll improve, I worded this question specifically this way because I want you to answer in the positive. Instead of feeling bad about what happened or like how things could have been better, I want you to think about what's something that you're going to be doing and actually taking action on in order to improve. So these are baby steps, and doing these every day for 365 days, you're going to notice some big changes in your life. So that might be stay off social media during breaks, but just small improvements that you can do on a daily basis. So going into the priority section, this is your top 3 to 5 most important priorities. These are like the non-negotiables, got to get these things done, and try and do these before you get into anything else. So of course do your morning review, but then jump into your priorities. And I like to, if you have 5 priorities, of course fill them up, but I like to leave some open because inherently things come up during the day that you might not have been accounting for. So you want to give yourself some room to adjust accordingly. But on these priorities, I like to work on these in different deep work sessions, as I talked about in the focus section. I like to spend about probably 55 minutes working on this, followed by a 5 to 15 minute break, and do that throughout all of these. I also like to take one of these and account it for my tasks, which will be my follow-up session, where I'll do a specifically dedicated multitasking session where I can handle a bunch of various topics. Your schedule, these are in half-hour blocks. So every half hour, and even if you're a digital calendar user, which I am as well, I use Google Calendar, the night before I go onto my Google Calendar and I bring up my schedule for the next day and I write it in here. I just like having one place where I can see my schedule all at once, and then I actually take the time to put in my priorities. So if I have an hour block that's open, I'll write a number 1 in there and just block off that hour for my number 1 priority. And then again, for your tasks, I do this in one multitasking session. And then your note section is just like freestyle and just like whatever you need it for. This is space for you to write whatever. There is your daily section. Go get them. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And hey, if you're getting some value out of using your Panda Planner, if you could do me a favor and just share it with a friend, it would mean a lot to me. Not like actually give them the planner, but maybe just share the message with them that you're using this product and you're enjoying it. Our goal is to help as many people as possible with our scientifically designed tools and strategies. So the more that we can spread the word, the better. We're a really small company, so trying to compete with the other planner, the big boys in the industry, is not always easy. So we really rely on word of mouth and people like you to help us spread the word. So I'd appreciate it, and thanks so much. Talk to you soon.